Hi guys, it's Robin with The Adventure Begins, and I love to help people who are just struggling to make it through each day feel better so that they can fully participate in life's great adventures. So today I'm going to talk a little bit more about decluttering, because some of you might be thinking, my family is not on board and so I can't do it. And I can 100% relate to that, because my family is not on board. I'm here in a room that two of my girls share, and look at all this stuff. It's crazy. And they are not on board with decluttering. And I read the book, The Life-Changing Magic of Tidying Up, about a year ago. And I got to the part where she was talking about how she had decided her family was the problem. And this is when she was a kid. So this is like her brother, sister, and parents. And so they had this communal closet, and she decided to go through this closet, and she would look at stuff that she didn't think that they needed to keep, and she would move it to the back, and she would leave it there for a couple months. And if nobody noticed, then she would get rid of it. But it got to the point where the closet was really getting really empty, and people started to notice. And they got really, really upset. And so after that, she learned that you really can't declutter for anybody else. And so at that point, I basically just shut the book and was like, forget it, then there's no hope. I can't do it. And it's probably been a year since I'm back thinking, okay, I need to try again. And so what she had said after that happened was that she had been organizing her brothers and sisters' rooms for years. They had never done anything themselves because she was obsessed with it. And so once she was banned from doing that, she was not allowed anymore, she just focused on her own stuff. And it felt really amazing to just be able to go through her own stuff, and it really made a difference to how she felt. And it, you know, I think she thought it wouldn't make a difference, and that's how I felt, right? And it's probably how you feel if this is a concern of yours. It's not going to make a difference if you can't go through the whole house. Well, she found that it really did make a difference. And then what she found was that her brother and sister sort of started, you know, getting rid of their own stuff and started following along. And maybe not to the extent that she did, because she was a bit hardcore for sure, which is, you know, how this progressed into a whole career for her. But it did make a difference, just her being a role model. So you cannot do it for someone else. And so that was, I mean, it's taken me like a year to accept that. So what did I do? And I don't have an end result to this yet because I'm not done decluttering. So we'll see how it turns out. But I truly believe that if you start by focusing on yourself, that's the key. You know, I have a lot of my own things that I can go through. I've been through my closet. I've been through all my stuff in my bathroom. You know, there's jewelry, there's coats, there's all kinds of things. Like most of the kitchen stuff, I, you know, have pretty much control over what we keep and what goes. And, you know, I can go through all of that. There's stuff that's stuffed in closets. There's lots of stuff in the basement. I have lots of books. Like all of that stuff I can go through. And even if I only reduce just my own clutter, you know, out of 5 people, that's still going to be like 20%. So that's going to make a difference in the look and the feel of our house and how I feel. So I think it's worth it to just, you know, focus on yourself. And there's a lot of things that you can do when you focus on yourself. So starting small is another thing that I think is important, because if you were to go through your whole house in a weekend and just be tossing things, I think your family would probably freak out, right? Your house did not get this cluttered overnight, and so it's not going to get decluttered overnight. It's going to take time. So start small, and as long as you're making forward progress, it's going to give your family a chance to kind of adjust and see what's happening and realize that it's okay, and you know, maybe that will help them down the road. I also, something I've been doing that I think is really helping is I've been letting my kids see how excited I am by the whole process. So anytime I clean a drawer, they come home from school and I'm like, hey, come and see what I did. Come and see. Isn't it nice? Doesn't it look nice? Like I got rid of all this stuff and I still have all the stuff that I need. And, you know, so much easier to find now. And so I'm just really excited. And I think they're seeing that. And I think that's important. And I'm also talking about how it makes me feel. Like I just feel so much happier when I go in my room now and it's not a mess and there's nothing on the surfaces and everything is tidy. And I think they're probably getting tired of me, like getting a little thrill of joy when I open my drawers and they're so organized. Like it just makes me feel so good, and I am 100% sharing that with them. So it's important to lead by example, but not with an expectation. And that's what I did in the past. I was like, I'm going to start, and then they're going to come on in and do it too. And then when they didn't, I was like, screw it. I can't do it. I quit. So this time I came in with a totally different feel. Like, of me, I am going to do this, and I am going to continue, and I'm going to do every last thing that I can, and I am not going to worry about anybody else. And it was actually really freeing to go through my room and go through my closet and not even worry about my husband's side. Like, I didn't have to think about that. I didn't have to touch it. I didn't have to think, okay, like, when can we coordinate now? Like, when, it's not his favorite thing to go through stuff, so he's not going to want to do it. So I didn't, you know, it didn't have to slow me down. I didn't stop at all. I just kept going. And so it's awesome not to worry about anybody else's stuff. You know, there's 2 drawers in the bathroom that are his. I just left those. I don't have to worry about it. So that's important too. But what happened is actually my kids have been kind of slowing me down a bit, because I had zero intention of doing anything in their rooms. And it was like the first or second night when I was doing this that I came to tuck my middle daughter into bed, and she's a hoarder. Like, she is really a hoarder, and she thinks that things have feelings, and so there's a lot of issues with her getting rid of stuff. Like, even to throw a piece, you know, something that she doesn't want anymore in the garbage is really hard for her, because somehow it has feelings. So we went through her. I came in to tuck her into bed, and she was like, had all her stuff out of her drawers, and I was like, what are you doing? And she's like, oh, I want to fold my clothes like yours are folded, because it looks so nice, and you can find things way easier. So I helped her. We went through and we did all of her drawers, and she even gave up a few pairs of pants that she hasn't worn in a really long time, and I'm sure wouldn't fit her anymore. You know, there was some other things that I think she could have given up, but she didn't. But I didn't push her. I just, you know, celebrated the fact that she did do what she did, and it's going to make it so much easier for her putting away her laundry, because my kids put away their own laundry, and you know, and finding things in the morning. So hopefully that's going to be reinforcing for her. And my youngest daughter is like, Mom, I want to go through my drawers and I want to get rid of stuff because they're too full. I'm tired of trying to stuff stuff in and I can't find stuff. So that's exciting. And even my oldest daughter was like, her drawer, she got rid of some socks so that she could fold her socks the same way that I have mine. And you know, in the past I've been like, your socks don't all fit in this drawer. It's a problem. We got to do something about it. And she's like, no, they all fit and I like them all. I'm not getting rid of them. But this time she got rid of some so that they would all fit in this nice way. So even though, oh, and the other thing was our dresser in our bedroom. It's been like something that my husband has always done, is just come home from work, and I think he thinks he's in a hotel still and the maid's gonna come along and clean it up, and he just empties his pockets and leaves it on the dresser, and it just builds up and builds up and builds up. And I don't, you know, it's not stuff that I know what it is. Like, it's receipts and stuff. Like, does he want to keep them? I don't know. So I don't deal with it. And I asked him if he wanted to go through it, and so he did, and oh, it's been completely clear. And he even came home from work, didn't put a thing on the bedroom dresser, and that's probably the first time since we've been together in like 20 years. So just because you don't have expectations doesn't mean things won't happen. But if things don't happen with your family right away, don't get discouraged. Just keep focusing on yourself and talking about how it's making you feel, and, you know, feeling like you're making forward progress, and don't worry about them. Okay, another thing that I think I'm going to do, I haven't done yet, but my other plan that I think is going to help is doing a benefits list as we progress through this, and I'm going to get them all to help brainstorm ways that this can benefit us, because there's things that all of them don't like. You know, my oldest daughter is really a neat freak. Even though she has all this stuff, the rest of her room is quite organized most of the time. And then her sister, and they share a room, is not organized and has way too much stuff, and it's always spilling out and it's always all over the floor, and her room is never like clean for more than a couple minutes. So that's something that really bothers my older daughter. So that's something that she's going to want to put on the list, right? Like that it can reduce her stress in this area. You know, things like, you know, our home will be more tidy. So if they want to invite a friend over, it's going to be already clean. They're going to be able to find things. They're not going to be searching for their sweater last minute in the morning, or they're not going to have, you know, not be able to find a form that they're supposed to take into school, or that kind of thing. You know, it's going to help us all in that way. And I'm hoping, since my middle daughter is so convinced that things have feelings. And I've also had her listen to little tiny bits of the audiobook of The Life-Changing Magic of Tidying Up, because it talks a lot about how stuff does have feelings and how socks don't like to be folded in little balls and things like that. And your clothes will tell you if they want to be hung. And I kind of thought that was crazy the first time I read it. But now I'm thinking I need my daughter to hear that, because if she can relate to this lady who believes that stuff is important, but you only need to have a certain amount of stuff or else you can't give it the attention that it wants and deserves, then maybe that will help her. I don't know if it will or not, but I certainly don't think it hurts for her to listen to little clips of this audiobook. So I just have it playing when she's around, and you know, I've taken it when I've been listening to it, and I've heard a certain thing that I think she would really like to hear. I've been like, hey, listen to this. So that's another thing I've been doing, and I really hope that it does. You know, that's one other benefit I think can come out of this is just having the time to spend with the stuff that you truly value and you want to keep, rather than just being overwhelmed by a bunch of stuff that you don't even like or care about and doesn't bring you joy. So those are my tips, and I hope you find that helpful. And it's a process for me, and if you have any tips for me, I would love to hear them. So put them in the comments, and I'm going to keep doing my research and keep progressing with this so that, you know, we can hopefully do it together. Okay, I hope you all have an amazing day.